welcome to King's Creatures Animal Training. I'm Laura King and I'm here to help you train your dogs and cats to be therapy animals and adventure pets. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most important therapy animal skills that might not be explicitly listed on a therapy animal test, but practicing this skill will help you with almost every single test item. And most importantly, it's going to help you on your real life therapy animal visits once you're certified as a team. It is this: your pet notices something and stays calm. When people start training their pet for therapy animal work, they usually think about the obvious things like sit, down, stay, loose leash walking, not jumping, not pulling. And yes, those are all important, obviously, but when you really think about what happens when you're on a visit with your therapy animal, what actually is going on? Often you're going to be walking or interacting in places where someone knocks over a cane or a walker, a kid runs by, a door slams, a thunderstorm rolls in, someone claps, a cart rattles past you, or another dog appears out of nowhere, as much as we try to prevent that from happening on our visits. Your pet is going to notice those things. They're not robots. And they're, of course, allowed to look at the world, and we want them to notice the world. We want them to get out and have fun and enjoy the world. But what we want to train is that when our pets notice something, they stay calm, they are intentional with their actions after they notice that thing, and they check in with us, they engage with us. That helps them to make a good choice. That is so much of what our pets do as therapy animals. They spend so much time experiencing new things on visits and just being okay with all the new. So here's the cool part. There's actually a lot of science behind how we can make this skill work. And if you understand it, it will change how you train. So what we're focusing on to master and capture and foster this skill is that every single time our pet notices something, and before they react, before they get over threshold, we mark and reward. We're encouraging them to notice something and then redirect that attention to us, to engage with us. So there's two big learning theories at play here: classical conditioning and operant conditioning. They're fancy words, and maybe you might think, yeah, I don't really need to know them, but they have a practical meaning, and it applies here and in so many other places in training. Classical conditioning is how we change emotions. Think about Pavlov and his dogs that would start to drool when that bell rang because they knew food was coming. If every time something new appears, you mark and reward, pretty soon your pet starts to think, oh, when a new thing shows up, good stuff happens. So instead of feeling worried or overexcited, which is often an issue with therapy animals when they first start training, they love people, they love interactions a little too much, right? They're a little too excited. So now when they notice that person, animal, distraction, whatever it may be, we mark and reward, and they start to feel calm and confident. They're more intentional with their choices instead of amped up or scared and shut down and more reactive with their choices. Operant conditioning is how we change behavior. So your pet notices something, they stay calm and intentional, and then they get rewarded. So your pet starts to think, hey, when I notice something and I stay calm, I get paid. I should do that again and again and again because I'm going to keep getting paid, right? So we're doing two things at the same time. We're changing how our pets feel about new things. They're no longer scary or so exciting that we're just pulling and ignoring everybody around us. And we are changing what they do. So when they notice something new, they choose to check in with us. And that is exactly what we need for therapy animal work. Because learning happens best when their brain is calm enough to think, but aware enough to notice. If your pet is already barking, lunging, or losing their mind, the survival part of the brain has taken over, they're in reactive mode, and they're not really learning in that moment. So we want to catch that moment where they notice something but are still calm and thinking. That is the sweet spot where learning actually happens. So I'm going to show you what this looks like using Cora, who's pretty chill back here. And we're going to play a squeaky toy sound so you can see exactly when I mark a reward. I've got my chesty jar of treats right here, so I can be ready to reward her. I'm going to share some links in the description of this video so that you can play some sounds that might cause your pet to look, and we're just gonna mark and reward when they notice, but before a big reaction happens. So I'm gonna turn my phone up nice and loud and get some squeaky sounds playing. Good. So that's all it is. She noticed it. I said good, and I rewarded. Let's see if she looks again. Good. Good girl. Good job. Good. So what you might have noticed there was that after those first two rewards, Cora didn't look back over here to the squeaky sound initially. She stared at me. And for our second session, I would probably mark and reward that because she's engaged with me. She said, hey, I heard that thing. I'm going to look at you and check in with you because nothing's happening over here, right? And she's engaging with me and choosing to look to me for direction. Instead, I just waited, and when she looked towards the squeaky sound again, I marked and rewarded, and we got her engagement right back on me again. So with our first session, we don't necessarily need to mark and reward the engagement with us because, again, remember, our end goal isn't necessarily to get them to just stare at us no matter what's going on around them. That actually probably wouldn't make a very good therapy dog because she would be obsessed with me and not willing to engage with the public. But if she sees someone she wants to say hi to, she glances up at me for permission, and I can say okay to go say hi to that person. That's what we want. That's what makes Cora a successful therapy dog. So play that squeaky sound, thunderstorms, whatever it is that you think will get your pet to look, and then mark and reward the second they look towards a distraction. If you want, you can practice this outside, and of course there's built-in distractions out there. But if you're nervous or unsure, sometimes practicing inside with a distraction, a variable that we can easily control, is a little bit easier, especially if you're struggling with reactivity in your pet or overexcitement. Sometimes starting at home is going to be your best bet. So here's how you can do that starting at home this week. Pick a couple minutes each day, and during those minutes, you're going to mark and reward each time your pet notices something. Inside or outside, again, it doesn't matter. It's up to you where you want to practice. Just a couple minutes a day. The TV, a sound, a person walking by, another animal, a car door, anything they notice. We want to mark and reward anytime they notice something. You're looking for that moment where they see or hear something, but before they react. So we want to place that marker, that word good, or whatever you're choosing as your marker, before the reaction, just the split second where they notice it. That's when you say good and reward. You're probably going to find a lot less reactivity happening during those 2 minutes when you're practicing each day. And that is, of course, a good part of this training. We want to see less reactivity, more intentional choices. We are not waiting for that bad behavior. We're not waiting for the reaction. We're rewarding calm and intentional choices before the reaction happens. So try it out and then come back here next week to let me know how it went. I can't wait to hear how it's going for your adventure team. I'll see you next time.